Do you say welcome to another video?
Yeah, why not?
All right guys, welcome to another video. This time we're doing a little product launch. So behind me we have our brand new Weekender electrical panel. So this electrical panel is designed for those people, yourself specifically, who doesn't need a massive touring setup, who's not going away for weeks on end, they're just going away for the weekends. They just need to power the fridge, run the lights, and a few other things. So behind me, we're going to run through it all in depth, but yeah, that is how the system can look if we go for the basic setup. So let's get into it. All right, so first of all, the architecture of the system. What we have the panel with all the brains of the electrical components inside this black box, and then below we have the battery housing. So this battery housing is designed to be the same height as our fridge shroud for the Evercool fridge. So this means that we can either run a battery and a battery housing like this. It's fully protected, you can't get to it, nothing can whack into it. Or we could swap this out and then put the Evercool 40-litre drawer fridge in place of the battery and then relocate the battery elsewhere in the canopy. But most importantly, check out this electrical panel. So it is our Weekender, it is our entry-level electrical package. It's not designed for someone who is going away for a long time, but it is the perfect system for someone who's just going away for a short time. Great to run the fridge. We've got the lights. If I hit the lights on our switches up here, got the lights on the door there, and you can also see how much space it leaves in such a short canopy. So this is a 79 Land Cruiser. The canopy length is a 1262 long. So, and then 1850 wide as well. So you've got a whole heap of space here to do whatever you want to, and then everything is protected up. So let's get into the panel itself. So we have 4 switches along here. Then we use the Nava switches, so these are just little stickers that go on so we can label them whatever you want. So in this case, we've got water pump, lights, accessories, and the refrigerator. Water pump is pretty straightforward. We do have a secondary switch on the outside, which is a manual override. Lights, obviously we've gone through. Accessories, that turns on our USB-B, so our standard USB, and then we've also incorporated a USB-C outlet there. So for all the new phones that need the C, the USB-C, we've got a port there for you too. And then we've got just a SIGGI socket. So we can configure these, but I think this is what's going to be standard. But if you did want extra USBs, we could put a plug in there for you. Above that, we have the BMS, so the battery management system. So all this gear in this panel is Victron energy. So this is our Victron panel. It is wired up by the guys at EC Off-Road. So we buy it from them. They are the auto Sparkies. So again, we have Sparkies here, but what we do, we buy the panel fully wired and then we can plug it straight into our canopies and it works. Yeah, it's basically as factory, I guess. It's a really neat solution. You'll see that when we open it all up. So battery management system, that there is a screen, so you can see exactly sort of state of charge, your volts going in. As it's an AGM, you're not going to get the best performance out of your BMS, because if you go to Lithium, there's a lot more things you need to sort of manage, and also if you're interested in seeing what's happening on the inside of your battery, you can all see it through the BMS, so that is an external display. What I'll do now, I'll open it up. Well, actually, before we open it up, we also have Anderson plugs. I've missed them before. So we've got 2 Anderson plugs out and then 1 Anderson in. So the Anderson in is for a solar blanket. That's wired up to MPPT on the inside, the solar regulator. And then the 2 Andersons out are, yeah, they're wired up. You'll see them when we pull them out. So they're rated to 30 amps each they're fused at. So let's open it up and have a look at the brains behind it all. So the way we open it up is we have these 2 M5 bolts on the side here. So these are just button head bolts. So I've got my 3mm Allen key, undo both of them, and then our panel swings out. So that there is everything you need to run a basic 12-volt system, so the Weekender pack. So probably starting off with the brains. I say the brains quite a bit, but when I do mean that, I do mean the chargers. So this one here is our DC charger. This one here is the solar regulator, so the MPPT. So what this one here does, obviously if you're familiar with all this gear, it takes your alternator current, which is a dumb current, and then it transforms it into either the correct charging profile for your battery. So that's all set internally via the Bluetooth app. This is a 30 amp charger. They can go up from there. but we do think 30 is sort of the best of both worlds. If you do have AGM, you don't want to pump a heap of current into it, but then again, 30 amps for lithium is also quite a good charge. The MPPT, so this is a 15 amp, so this is a solar regulator. So again, solar current that comes from the panel is a dumb current. Doesn't really mean anything as far as charging a battery, so it has to run through this unit here, which then converts it into correct charging current again. So they sort of work the same, but this one's taking power from your car, where this one's taking power from your solar blanket. So you can see here, our red Anderson plug, so our solar in, goes directly into our solar regulator. So with this, if you were to plug a solar blanket into it, you need to make sure that you don't have a solar controller on your blanket. So you can't run current through two solar regulators. It won't work with this one here. So if you do have a solar blanket which does have a regulator on it, we're gonna have to chop that reg off and then put another Anderson on it so you can plug straight in and then let the Victron gear do its thing. We have a lot of fuses going on here. So we've got MIDI fuses, so they're for the Andersons. Sorry, incorrect. That one there's the Anderson, that one's the solar regulator. Then we've got a twin MIDI fuse here. That one there's for the DC-DC charger, and then also the inverter, which we'll touch on shortly. And then we come over here. This one here is our main fuse for all our loads. Our main fuse then goes to our fuse block, which is each individual circuit for these switches here all run through our fuse block, and you can see how nice the wiring is. It is a really, really neat system, and something that we can be really proud of and sell as a really functional unit for those people who aren't looking to spend massive dollars on a huge touring package and set to go away for a long time. What we're going to do now is open up battery case, show you what battery we can do, and then also run through a few upgrades we can offer for this package. So we have obviously our AGM, but then we do have lithium upgrades, and that inverter that I mentioned, it gets mounted up here. We'll touch on that shortly too. All right, so I've just taken off the battery cover, which was here, the protection for the battery, obvious. No, let's try that again. All right, so I've just taken off the battery cover. So you can see here, that is the AGM battery. It's from Powersonic, so it's a 125 amp hour battery. That is the entry level battery. We do have options to go up to lithium. I think what we'll do, we'll grab all the batteries out, which we do offer with this system, and then we'll run through them all together. So let there be batteries.
Now I just can't.
Don't move.
Okay.
Where was I?
Yeah, roughly there.
Right here.
Do another clap.
And there we go, batteries. So, all right, so summary of the batteries. Entry level AGM, really heavy. 75 amp hour lithium, really light, a bit more expensive, but it is what we'll be pushing with the system. And then the 200 amp hour BTEC from Enerdrive, the godfather of batteries, I guess. It is a really cool setup, but it does come with a price tag. So that is the batteries we will be offering this system. Let's get to the last upgrade we're gonna offer, which is the inverters. All right, so the last option as far as upgrades with our weekend package is AC power, so our inverter. What we will be doing, we'll be offering from Victron as well, so it's all the same brands. It's gonna be a 500 VA inverter. So that equates to about 400 watts of power. So it's enough to run sort of a laptop, charge up any power tools or anything like that. With these inverters, we can't do any shore power. We don't, no, I got ahead of myself then. So yeah, with these inverters, we can't do any shore. With these inverters, we're not going to be offering any remote GPOs. That will just be the one GPO that comes on the unit. So if I lift this up, got to be honest and upfront, this is actually an 800 VA. Grabbed the wrong one for the video, but we'll be offering a 500. So it still looks the same, it's just slightly smaller. So you can see there, there's the output. So it's just a standard plug. So if you zoom into that one there, Anton, you get a nice little picky. Got him? Yep. Nice, mate. All right, then if I spin it around, you can see the input side of it. So we do have our power in, manual on and off, and then we do have a remote as well we can plug in down there. So I did mention when we had the board open, we had that dual MIDI fuse. We will run it at an 80 amp fuse, and that goes up to, runs up the channel here, and then the inverter will sit basically up there. So as I said, that is the wrong inverter. So we usually have a 500, not an 800. So it's just a little bit squatter, a little bit shorter, and that's where it sits there. So you can sort of see there, that's the complete system look. If you do option the inverter on this weekender package that we will be offering here at GCI Traytec. So as far as pricing goes, I'm not going to go through it now. We'll put it all in the description of this video, so you can check out exactly how much the base system will be, and then also the upgrades to each one of the batteries. We'll put a line item there so you can sort of figure out what's best for you. 3, 2, 1. Nice, Gary. So we mentioned before that all the Victron gear is Bluetooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out my phone. So we mentioned before that all the Victron gear is Bluetooth. So what we mean by that is I can grab my phone out and we can log into every single bit of hardware that we have here and see what's happening on the inside, as well as change a few settings. But another really cool feature of all the Victron gear is that everything has QR codes on it. So if I grab my phone out here and I scan that QR code, it's going to take me to the Victron website. I've got all the data there. I can download the manual, also get the download link to the apps which we need to, but I've already downloaded them, so let's jump into it. So Victron connects. So straight here we have 3 units. So that top one there, that is our BMS, so the smart, the display on our unit. Then the next one down is the DC-DC charger, and the final one there, the smart solar, that is our MPPT charger. So if we jump into the first one, the BMS, so as I mentioned, that is this guy here. So straight away we can see our state of charge. So we're sitting at 95%. One really cool feature that's just popped up there, that is the password protection. So that's gonna stop just any average Joe walking up to your canopy and logging into your gear, changing charge profiles and really mucking around with it to ruin your day. So I'm currently sitting at 12.16 volts. We currently are not discharging at all. So I'm gonna hit some lights there. And now we are discharging at 1.88. So one thing to note is the time remaining. So right now we're at 6 days. Don't look at that. So what I mean by that is taking the instantaneous current draw of what's coming off the battery, and then sort of calculating through, you've got say 120 amps remaining, and at 1.8 amps draw, you can run it for 3 days now. But if I sort of turn the fridge on as well, there we go, so it's updated there. So now our fridge is, we're drawing at 5.7 and we've got 2 days left. So that is instantaneous load. It doesn't average it over any time. It's just an indication, I guess. All right, so that is the status tab at the top. So that's what's happening right now. Let's go into the history. So we can see through the life of the battery, see exactly what's happened with it. But this is brand new, so we've just set it up so it doesn't really show us much, but you can see how many times you cycle the battery, deep cycles, and also max and min voltage it gets to. The really cool tab is the trends tab. So we can see there what is exactly happening in the battery. So when we started off, we were at 12.16, and then I've turned the lights on, we saw that, and then I turned the fridge on and it's plummeted down. So if I turn the fridge off, straight away, we jump straight back up to where the lights is. So the lights are only drawing, say it's about 2 amp there. I turn the lights off and we're gonna jump back up to 0. So that there, it will track it. Obviously I've just had the app on now, but yeah, you can track everything with this app. It's a really cool feature. Let's have a look at the chargers. So that's the BMS, the smart charger. So this is the DC-DC charger. So that is, if we open it up, that's this one here. So that's DC-DC. Car's not turned on right now. So we are off. We do have a voltage of 12.7. So what that is actually reading the starter battery at the front, because they are connected. One thing it's worth noting as well, when we do run our hot wire in all of our all the cars here at GCI Traytec, we pick up the hot wire off the secondary or the starter battery, the primary battery. So the reason we don't pick up off the alternator directly is the battery actually filters the alternator current, and then it gives a much more consistent feed, I guess, to the DC charger and then to our secondary battery. So don't pick off the alternator, we pick it up off the battery and let the battery filter out the current for us. So not much to see here because the car's not on. Again, we have the graph. So you can see, because it's an AGM battery, we've got bulk, absorption and float mode. If I go into here, battery settings, I can then change. So if we had a lithium, that's where we change it, and we can change all of our profile settings as well. Finally, the MPPT, I go back here, log into that one there. Again, we don't have anything plugged in, so I don't have much on my app here. if I were to plug a solar blanket into our Red Anderson plug, we would have charge going in there. So again, we have, as per all the other ones, we've got the history and we've got the trends. So the history tab's a little bit different. Obviously it's working in watt hours, so we can see, I guess, history of the past few days. This is only really applicable to you if you have a fixed solar. You're not going to really care what's happening over multiple days if you do have a solar blanket, unless you are out camping and fixed for a few days on end. So yeah, we can see all the information through the apps there as well. All right, so that is how sort of we set all of our Victron gear up. So as I close this up, we've actually got here 4 switches. So we've got 4 channels through this electrical panel. I want to know from you guys, how would you set up your electrical panel? So at the moment we have water pump, lights, accessory, and the refrigerator. How would you do it? What would you have for these 4 channels? Is 4 enough for you? Would you want more? Or would you be happy with sort of 2? So let us know what you think and how you'd set it up in the comments below. All right, so that is an insight to the weekender electrical package we offer here at GCI Traytec. Obviously we've run through in depth how it all works, what componentry you are getting. I have mentioned pricing will be in the link or the description below. But yeah, so if you're not going away for a long time on end, you're just going away from the weekends, and you want a power system to run your lights, your fridge, this could be the system that best suit your needs. Obviously we can upgrade it to the inverter to have AC capability as well. So make sure you check out all our other videos, subscribe to all our socials. We have a lot more builds and cool things coming out just like this one. So if you are interested and you do want to keep up to date and know what's happening here at GCI Traytec, make sure you subscribe. Cheers guys.